Gentleman from Florida, Mr. DeSantis, Vice Chair is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Cole. Mr. Cole, we learned in Congress on June 13, 2014, that 2 years' worth of lowest learners' emails were missing. The IRS would not produce those. When did the Justice Department learn of that fact?
I think we learned about it after that from the press accounts that were in the paper following the IRS's notification to the Congress.
Okay. So you actually read about it in the press, so nobody in the IRS ever went to the Justice Department to give you a heads up knowing that you were conducting the investigation, that some evidence may have been destroyed?
Not before the 13th of June.
Okay. Now let me ask you this. If you said in your testimony that you share the committee's interest and you are conducting a thorough and complete investigation and analysis of the allegations of targeting by the IRS, if that is the case, then I guess my question is, why wouldn't you have known that these emails were missing? Did you just simply not seek to obtain those in the course of the investigation, or did the IRS not provide documents that the Justice Department requested?
Well, again, it's difficult to get into the details of the investigation, but there's a number of different sources of emails in the IRS. There's lots of recipients and senders, and we were looking at many different forms and sources of those emails, and it didn't become apparent based on that there were any missing emails before that.
Now, let me ask you this. If somebody, you're investigating an entity, government agency, whatever, that agency has a duty, once they know they're under investigation, to preserve evidence, correct?
That's correct.
And they have a duty to produce the relevant documents that are requested in the course of that, correct?
That's correct.
And that would fall, I guess ultimately the agency head is responsible for ensuring that the agency complies with the Justice Department, right?
I would imagine the agency head ultimately bears responsibility, but there's people further down who actually do the work.
Now, in the course of investigating a case, if you're investigating an agency, an entity, and there's evidence that is destroyed, and that agency knows that they're under investigation, don't they have a duty to report that to the Justice Department so that you know that the evidence has gone missing?
We would like to know that information. It depends on when they learn of it, and it's certainly information that we would like to have.
Let me ask you this. If you're in court and you make a representation to a judge, even if it's in good faith, and you later find out that the representation you made is factually incorrect, you have a duty as an attorney and a member of the bar to go back to the court and follow a duty of candor to inform the tribunal of the mistake and correct the record. Is that right?
That's correct.
So do you think that as you in the Justice Department look in a congressional investigation, if we have somebody heading an agency or who's involved with an agency and they provide information to us and that information later they determine to be incorrect, do they have a duty of candor to the Congress to correct the record?
Yes.
Very well. Let me ask you this, Mr. Cole. There was a letter. We had sent a subpoena for documents, and we received a response on May 28, 2014. It was signed by Peter Kadzig. And in that, the Department's position is the same. There are certain items that we requested that the Department is not going to produce. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
Okay. And the reason for that cited was substantial confidentiality interest. And I just wanted to clarify, is not producing the documents, is the reason for that, is the President actually exerting executive privilege in this matter?
I don't believe there was an assertion of executive privilege. There's law enforcement sensitive documents and documents involving ongoing investigations that traditionally over decades, the accommodation with the Department and the Congress is that those are not produced because they are law enforcement sensitive items.
My final question would be, this Congress held Lois Lerner in contempt, almost 9 weeks ago. Federal law requires when that happens that the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia take that to a grand jury. Is it your understanding of that law that that is an obligatory duty, that the U.S. Attorney must take that before a grand jury?
My understanding of the law is that it does not strip the U.S. Attorney of the normal discretion that the U.S. Attorney has. He proceeds with the case as he believes it is appropriate to do so.
So 2 U.S.C. 194 says it shall be the duty to bring the matter before the grand jury. So you're saying that actually, even though Congress mandated a duty, a prosecutor would essentially be able to trump that language by exercising discretion?
I believe that there's aspects of it that give any prosecutor prosecutorial discretion on how to run a case and how to review a matter. I understand this matter is under review, and as far as whether or not it has been presented to the grand jury, that's information that you can't disclose because grand jury proceedings.
I understand that entirely. Okay, my time is up. Maybe we'll follow up on that, and I yield back.